Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party. My buddy Rhett. I got a nut for her. It's one of the ones she doesn't like, but there you go. And we are dealing with a brand new concept that I've never really dealt with before. It's kind of weird. I wonder what this details is. Oh, that's that. I'd be curious to see if there's any detached elements. So look at that. We don't even have anything. We've already got a bunch of detached nodes. Um, this template, but yeah, that's pretty wild. Let's see. Now let's run it again. Click that button. And so we have one adviz or two adviz span nodes, and I don't think there's anything in there at all. So basically, we have a component called the app menu component, and the app menu component is laid out. I was kind of thinking that it's possible that in my app I have a reference to the in the app component itself. I might have a TypeScript reference to my app, my menu item. So doesn't kind of look like it, but maybe one of these things is doing it. Um, I wonder if I can just comment these out. Doesn't seem like any of this stuff should. This is all, based on looking for things for, I love you too, looking for animations to run. But you know what? Let's get rid of that. And so all we have in here is our router outlet, our app menu, and that. So let's go ahead and refresh because it is very possible that for our development convenience, it is um, it is look at that 40 megs of memory being used. Yeah, see, so that adviz is still there. So, and I guess just to be fair, so I do think it's like a non-starter. We have to have the menu in its own class, in its own component. I can't just throw it in the. I mean, I could, but I don't want to. That's non-negotiable. It has to be in its own component because I do not want to be trying to have menu management code mixed in with my overall application code. Um, so app layout. Is this just complaining that? So it's just upset that this guy is being imported and not used. It's the app layout component, right? App. Is it? Yeah, app layout. So it's upset that I'm not actually using that. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, so literally all we have is a component, a template, and then a component in our template that just brings in this one component, this app menu component, and then the app menu component brings in literally all it has is this map menu with a span in there. So I don't think there's anything I could possibly be doing other than the fact of using it inside of its own component that might be causing this node to be this detached node to be available. So so yeah, and see, we still, even without anything, literally nothing. All we have is map menu with this span in there, and we have two of them that aren't even reachable. And so I did a search yesterday. I asked ChatGPT about detached elements. I don't know if I did it in this. Sometimes I'll do it in Edge, and then um, so what is a detached element in the dev tools? Virtually, okay. It's not. Oh. So this is not what I read yesterday. They said it was not reachable. Oh, okay, so it is. It's still something is still pointing at this two of these, and literally all I've done is launch the page. So okay, so I am using Angular, and this is all I have. And when I launch the page, I have two detached elements, even if haven't interacted with the page. What you're seeing isn't necessarily a bug in your code. With Angular Retailer, especially map menu, it's normal to see detached elements show up in the dev tools when you first load. Here's why. Map menu is not rendered inline where you declare it. Overlay container. Okay, okay. When to worry. So yeah, that, because when I had the actual menu Hey Rhett, how are you? When I had the actual menu implemented, I could interact for 2 minutes and have hundreds of detached elements. I only had 2 menu items. And map menu can cause, if something is set up, what happens is overdrop references seen hundreds of only. That means so yeah, so none of this is true. The menu is never destroyed. Change the code to one static menu in the component template, and then only reference it from different. So this, okay, so this is its TypeScript. I guess I should give it its TypeScript. This is oh my gosh, is the TS component. And again, as I say all the time, I would not ever take code and at work and paste this. This is definitely just for my own personal project. Okay, so this is the app layout component. I mean, I think I'm a little bit out of sync with it because it seems to think I'm still talking about the hundreds. So this is my template in, okay, template in the app template. use the component. All right, it looks like in this practice, okay, without a trigger. Do you want to rewrite your app component app menu usage using the working clean example into a working? So, yeah, sure. Okay. So let me just show it. It's my TypeScript. Let's go ahead and delete all of this. And I guess I should, now I can delete this. And I can get rid of this. And this. This. I think, like, that my feeling at this moment is that there's a problem with this component in Angular material and leaks. And I did, like, anytime I got a chance yesterday, if I saw something that looked like it was Angular, I would look at, and it looked like it was using the menus, I would look and see if it had detached, and they had hundreds, maybe even thousands of detached elements. So I don't think it's anything I'm doing, but you know, I can't swear to it. So this is the applications, TS. Oh, actually, that's not 100% true. Let's try it. Because maybe it'll go away. Maybe there's something I'm doing in there. I hope it's something. I hope it's something that's within my power to control. I mean, I like to discover things. You know what I mean? There's like kind of a desire to discover things. Nope. So now that is accurate. Currently only contains bare map menu with trigger. That's why Angular material is creating detached overlay. They don't have a life cycle. How to fix this cleanly. Okay, so they're saying that if I add okay, let's try it. I think they're full of crap, but you know, I've been wrong about stuff like this before, so. And then that's kind of weird that it, well, I guess that makes sense that they would do this. Okay, and I think I already have that. This is where you kind of have that sort of mixed, like, I want to be right, but then you also want to be wrong. Because it's fun being right, but you definitely learn a lot more being wrong than being right. So would love to just sort of dig in this. Yeah. So now I have 12 detached. Okay. So I implemented these changes, copied your changes into my code, and now I have 12 detached elements. The overlay system is still creating multiple. Even with the property, let's break it down, you might still be seen. So one known cause is that menus defined in standalone components sometimes end up recreated if Angular thinks the template is being reinstantiated. To prevent that, make sure it's not. It's not necessarily a leak. Oh my God. No, this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. Almost. Expected detach and true leaks. Okay. Okay, so I don't think this is true. Don't think that this is true statement. Live DOM nodes still attached to the document. Detached node that no longer attached but still retained in memory by some. That's part is clear and reliable. Okay, so here's I yesterday was clicking around and I would run across Angular applications like YouTube. In the DevTools, and there were thousands of detached elements. YouTube or any large React view is the same underlying thing. Modern frameworks create, destroy, recycle DOM nodes aggressively. At some point, those nodes end up detached because the framework keeps references for the template debugging hooks. Over time, this can show up in DevTools, hundreds of thousands. So okay, so the applications I've ever worked on would get slower and slower over hours of use. This seems like it might be the culprit. The fix is usually to just refresh the page. I have to admit, I'm pretty annoyed by that answer. And detached element queue along with retained event listeners, template refs, and time. Even if each retained node is small, multiply thousands over hours. This often manifests as a sluggish UI, especially on single page apps. Clears all, yeah. So yeah, but this isn't going to work. Reality check. Even with perfect cleanup, detached nodes invariably in Angular material or other component libraries. I love how they just keep throwing other libraries under the bus. Major factor in SPA load joins. Refresh the page is simple, foolproof way of reclaiming. Careful cleanup of code. I mean, what's the point? This component just creates them. There is nothing that can be done about it. And that's FairFresh is one of those situations where the framework makes a trade-off that isn't ideal from a memory purist. See, I don't care about, I am not a memory purist. I just want shit to work. We need to worry about the. Okay, so that is BS because I literally getting 12 detached. So I'm arguing with somebody that this thing is getting information from. So it's obvious that people know about this and that they are just choosing to put their head in the sand. And if we don't push back, it's never going to get fixed. This is a cancer in software, in web applications. It's elements without even moving the mouse. Obviously, obviously, this can't scale. And is a poison. I'm being a little bit, I think the word might be pentacted, or I'm being a little dramatic here, but I do want to kind of make the point. So poison pill / cancer in any application that is supposed to scale. You're not just talking about a small framework quirk, you're seeing detached elements appear immediately on load without any user, and that immediately signals unnecessary retention. I agree, that is concerning, especially if you care about scaling a large application. Let's break it down. Why this is happening? Yes, I think we've gotten over. Okay, that's bullshit. Okay, 1. Okay, that is not true. Okay. This is not true. Because I made the trigger changes that you suggested, and I went from 2 to 12 nodes. After doing that, the number of detached elements increased from 2 to 12. Even before this means simply declaring causes Angular material to initiate. This is not resulting. Why it matters, detached. I know it why it matters, even without user interaction. So they're not lazy loaded or conditional. If your app uses dozens of menus, will scale linearly for hundreds of detached nodes. This is exactly a poison pill problem you described. Angular materials. Convenience comes at a memory cost that can be avoided. That can't be avoided. Yes, this is what I finally got it to admit. Now, it is just literally taking thousands and thousands of conversations and just distilling out what appears to be the thing. And that is one of the what appears to be like the accepted solution. Once you interact more and more of it, it starts to sort of funnel you into a direction, or at least this is my personal experience. I don't know if this is how it works, but it'll start to funnel you into a direction and find like-minded people and start to give you the answers on that. So so now it's not kind of giving me the answers. Now I suspect that, the people that are giving the, oh, what's the big deal about 12 nodes, like those people are probably like just being defensive, and they're trying to just defend something that is generally indefensible if you're talking to technical people. But if they're talking to non-technical people, the non-technical people have no idea. um, yeah, I think this is what I was trying to get to. This was the whole thing: avoid using map menu and build or duplicate only when needed. um, See, it's still, that won't even work because the minute you use it, you're going to do that. So do you know problem with all of the material design? Components. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, see, I was kind of hoping that maybe this was just specific to map menu. That's such a bummer. I really. So the thing about Angular material and is that it's just so nice. It works so well. Um, I do think in a professional environment, especially if like 508 compliance and those sorts of things are like that's going to be a requirement, that this is just something you have to live with. And if it is something that you have to live with, it's just kind of like the you're gonna probably end up um, just having to like have a you know this works. If it starts to get sluggish, go ahead and reload, because honestly, being accessible, if it's an application that needs accessibility, is probably more important than being able to scale up to a massive size. um, and to scale up to a massive size and be like something that someone could sit down and work at for 8 hours. Because sometimes people like to work on things for hours and hours and hours, leave it up and running, turn out, put their computer to sleep, come in the next day, get it running, and continue to work. If that is like a actual requirement, you really can't use Angular material. Um, like if you need stuff like 508 compliance, then you have to just live with this, to reload every few hours. You are building something that is like a utility, or just for yourself. People, and you would like to use that application for extended periods of time, then you probably should avoid Angular material. Which is a huge bummer, because Yeah, sort of transfer reality in plain terms. When Angular makes apps with short-lived sessions, which that is absolutely true. By the way, it's priority, material handles, yeah, area attributes. This is keyboard navigation, focus. It does so good at that. Um, Apps where developer productivity and standard styling matters more than long-term memory use. Productivity and standard styling. Well, developer productivity, I don't know if that's true. In the short term, that's true. But it is true that like if you're gonna bring like a new developer in or something like that, if there's you can look up stuff. There's you can get a pro fast to build UI accessibility out of the box, detached nodes and memory overhead accumulates the longer users stay on, the more potential slowdown. Utility apps, internal dashboards meant to run for hours or days continuously. Yeah, that is apps with lots of floating components, menus, dialogues, tooltips. Apps where memory efficiency is critical. To avoid, you can scale gracefully, lose convenience of area compliance. Yeah. Attached elements are considered acceptable. User refresh pages naturally, and trade-offs are worth it. For specialized internal apps where uptime and memory generally really nice. Clean styling, keyboard support, built-in accessibility, but the CDK over memory behavior is baked in. There's no configuration option. Just disable detached nodes. And it's kind of weird that like if the browser can figure out that something is detached, why can't it delete it? That is weird. So can you, okay, and I'm actually, wait, if you want, I can outline a hybrid which you keep material for accessibility buttons inputs. Yeah, I think this is a lie. Um, so explain why the browser can detect detached modes but not delete them. Exists in memory, the browser has in it, but it is not attached to the live DOM tree. So visually, it is not on the page, but something still has it. Why the browser? The dev tools can iterate all objects in memory and check whether the DOM has a parent in the document tree. If so, memory tab. Detection is easy because the browser can inspect all references that hold it. I wonder why I can't detect that in code. The browser uses garbage, which only frees when nothing holds reference to it. The node is detached. Would break the code. Oh, okay. Overlay objects, your code event listeners. So has Google indicated any intention? So it's so weird how we had to get all the way to this and just argue with ChatGPT for like 20 minutes just to get to the point where it says, yeah, okay, it's known. This is a known issue. Yeah, Google has this overlay system, and the overlay system has memory leaks, and it's just known. And if you want to use Angular material, then suck it up. If not, then don't. It's weird. It's weird that, like, why didn't it just open with that when I started complaining about detached nodes? It's like how that is a very strange thing to imagine how it's moving through the data. And then there was a stream of data where it sounds like somebody on their side finally just capitulated and said, yeah, this is a known issue. And dealing with this. issue, and they must struggling with this, that are being hurt by this. Because for with Angular material, a long running application will as of now, hasn't been an official statement of Google or Angular team acknowledged this. Oh, so they haven't acknowledged that this issue even exists, or a plan the Angular material. So man, that even like this might be like what. So when I said, oh, it's weird that it took so long. Well, it might be because like nobody in an official capacity has acknowledged the existence of this issue, but like you know regular developers and stuff like that have like this is common knowledge with a lot of people. I know that like I've worked on plenty of places where we're like literally every time like we build dashboards that people are gonna that are always up and running, and we'll be like, oh, can we use the Angular material because it would really make that a lot easier. And like, nope. And we're like, well, why? And we don't know. We can't. And we're like, well, what's the problem? Because it would be really nice, and that thing that took me a week to do is would take me an hour to do in Angular material. And they're like, nope. And you just can't get an answer. I think I have found my answer, because like especially a lot of like top secret type stuff, which I was never, privy to or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure a lot of my code has ended up in top secret code bases. Like they might need a visualization being displayed for weeks on end, and it's up and running on some big dashboard somewhere, and like that visualization can't have a memory leak in it. So I guess I understand. It has been on various improvement, but this particular grade has not been highlighted. Has expressed similar concerns. Okay, so this apparently these folks won't acknowledge its existence. Apparently, these folks it's common knowledge. So I would imagine over here, like if you worked in this group, this is what would be known as a taboo subject. You're probably not even allowed to acknowledge the existence. You're probably like if you say the word memory leaks, you're immediately an outcast, an unclean. I would bet you. It would be kind of funny. I definitely no, I'm not. It would be kind of funny to bring it up on one of their live chats, but that would be very, very uncool. Obviously, whatever the problem is, it's probably a very, very complex, deep problem that would be very, very, very hard. For instance, discussions on Stack Overflow and Reddit. I heard this is just a horrible place. I've never been to Reddit, but I hear it's an absolutely horrible place. I don't know if it's true or not, but I had heard this guy saying like if you ever want to experience the Dante's levels of hell, Reddit is where you should go. like I can't even like conceive of what in the world they're talking about. But anyways, indicates developers are noticing detached nodes in their applications even without user interactions. These discussions suggest that while Angular material provides convenience, it may not be the best choice for applications requiring long-term efficiency. See, the thing is like when I'm building these visualizations, I think that I could end up spending hours and hours and hours and hours trying to put together everything just perfectly. I can just imagine myself doing that. And if the application just quits working and fails, it could be a soul-crushing experience. And that would be for me understanding it on my machine. I just can't even imagine then unleashing that misery on other people. So I don't think that I can in good like my heart, I can't do that to people. So I'm not trying to like it's just like I just can't do that. I just can't say, well, I want to use this, I want this pretty drop down. So some person that spends 45 hours straight working on some visualization, and just so that, and then they can't do anything with it because the the browser crashed because it consumed too much memory. Like I just can't do that. I just can't do it. Um, it would be. I think in my younger years, today I wouldn't do it, but in my younger years, I might actually quit a job over that. Like I was like, I can't be part of this. I've definitely softened up since then, but uh, yeah, powerful for Angular material is a powerful tool for rapid development. It's important to weigh the benefits against potential memory leak overhead, especially for extended periods of time. Like I almost feel like you want to maybe, if you could have some sort of indicator or time indicator or something that gives someone like an indication that says, hey, like, this, because of certain things that are outside of our control, this thing gets a little bit more, will get more and more likely to crash over time. So, please save and refresh um, a lot. But I would rather just not use it. It kind of breaks my heart because I like having the practice. Um, but, now it is like, so yeah, worked on some high profile applications that created visualizations that were that had the potential to need to be up for days and maybe weeks at a time. Our team begging use Angular material, but the request was always returned down. I suspect that this might be the reason. Yes, that makes perfect. Actually lines up exactly with the behavior we've been discussing. Applications need to run for days or weeks continuously. That creates a detached DOM. DOM nodes or overlays can become ticking time bombs. Even a small memory overhead per component multiplies quickly. And when you have dozens or hundreds of menus, tooltips, and dialogues, visualization panels over time can slowly degrade performance, cause janky UI, risk browser crashes if memory usage balloons. Memory predictability and long-running high interaction density. Engineering trade-off is often unacceptable. Oh, gosh, what a bummer. Um, I hope this gets fixed someday. See, if you want, I can sketch out a small Angular pattern tool that behaves like Angular and doesn't pre-create detached elements, so you could actually survive long-running visual. I don't understand why. I can't understand how this is possible. You can have Angular behave about functionality UX patterns that literally using a menu that opens on a click. Dialog mode that floats above content, keyboard accessibly. So the behavior is what the user experiences, not the implement. How we could avoid pre-creating detached modes. Angular material pre-creates overlays for performance and reuse. Destroy when done. Once the menu closes, so while that seems technically feasible, my instinct tells me that other issues like the expression changed before will creep in. That's exactly the kind of thing that tends to happen when you start manually controlling components. Yeah, so yeah. Has been checked error, event timings and zones, yeah, focus and accessibility. Yeah, like absolutely you can avoid detached nodes. Practically safe only if you're carefully managed. Yeah, I don't actually think that's even true. Except for short-lived applications. Yeah, so like my next thing that I want to talk about is a voice application that I don't think anybody would ever run that for days on end. And whenever, like, whatever tool I would ever use would probably store its data like it doesn't take a long time to generate all the data. But like if I wanted to run like something that listened for 2 weeks in some area, listening for the sound of a specific bird or something, like then of course I would not want to use Angular material for that. But like for like a flashcard builder or a say hello project, like it's not going to be around very long. So Angular material is perfect for that. But yeah. Strong pass. The application I am working on is designed to allow users to build visualizations. Imagine someone using it for a very long time and losing very valuable. So better to avoid the memory leak. Lead. All right. I need to unwind Angular material from this application. I've never had to unwind Angular material from any application before. I have absolutely no idea what the implications of removing Angular material from this application are. It is very possible that we have literally just discovered something that killed this project, and I need to start from scratch again without Angular material, which is a bit of a heartbreaker. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.